Hi, it's Chris Town here. I don't usually do political videos. I've stopped doing them. The far more people have got far more intelligent things to say than I think I could ever say. But I'm 63 years old, and I've been following politics since I was about 13 years old. I've always been a Labour supporter. I still want a Labour government, but I personally won't be voting for them this time. Um, Really, it's to me, I'm a bit worried, and perhaps I shouldn't be worried. I don't know. Some people think it's a great thing. It's Reform UK. It's just the Triumphalist rally today was full on. Anne Widdecombe was completely deranged and deluded, but they show passion, and no one else shows any passion. I mean, Farage's speech had a great amount of passion in it. I don't agree with most of it, but it was very passionate. But let's talk about Farage for a little while. Let's talk about this business over the candidates and whether they're extreme right wing nutters and all that sort of business. If you may remember back to 2019, Farage was charging money for people to become candidates for Reform. And then they were vetted because Reform was a proper bona fide political party with with a structure. Even today in interviews with Trevor Phillips, Farage, oh, I've inherited a startup. I've inherited a startup. Well, hang on a minute, it's your company, so it's not a startup, is it? It's the Brexit Party rebranded. So, what happened to these people you had in 2019? A lot of them obviously were dropped as candidates, but the idea that you don't know anybody to me seems a bit ridiculous. That you don't know who some of these people are. And you've contradicted yourself a bit to say, oh, he came into the office sounding like Alf Garnett. Well, weren't you suspicious then? I'm a startup. Do people just walk into his Clacton office and just? To me, it doesn't add up. So that's my point on Farage. But let's have a little history lesson from my perspective over what's happened over the years. And the media, you've got the mainstream media, and now you've got all these people on YouTube, some really successful people. People make a living out of it on both sides of the political divide. There's different bias. There's Max Robespierre, and on the other side, you've got Toosey, you've got Michael Heaver, who just seems to be a Daily Mail type clickbait channel, but he's got loads of subscribers. So some people, that's their politics, and they like taking their politics that way. So yeah, but my experience is, the media, what's going on? Europe seems to be moving to the right. Back in 2015, I must admit, I'm very pro-Europe. I'm disgusted that we left Europe. I still think Brexit is a disastrous cult which is causing a load of problems. And until this cult is grabbed literally by the metaphorical, male part down there, this country is going to be, it's going to be sort of, it's going to be on a tenterhook. Back in 2015, I believe the mainstream media, the vote for Farage was a vote to get rid of the Tories. But then, of course, Cameron came through. My personal interest was, I was still working in 2010, and I voted as an individual for Ed Miliband, to be party leader, not his brother. And because I thought he was, too much of a Tory, to be honest with you, and I thought enough Tories. So I voted for Ed Miliband for the Union. Our Union accepted Ed Miliband, and I thought 2015 was a pretty good campaign, apart from that dreadful Edstone thing. And to me, Cameron was just a bit too smarmy. But change takes a lot of time. Labour in power for 13 years. Thatcher and Major in power for 18 years. So to win an election in 5 years was a big order. And so that was the 2015 election. We ended up with, a Cameron government. So then we had the referendum, and, once again, a really passionate campaign from the Leave side and a lacklustre campaign from the Remain side. So obviously I didn't vote for Brexit. I was one of the 48, but it won by 52 to 48. And some of us had a lot of soul searching. My lady friend Kathy, she was really upset about it. I was upset about it, but and I'm still upset about it, and I still bang on about it sometimes. You'll still find me putting an S in it if I'm on, make comments on YouTube, things I make comments on. But so yeah, but the trouble was, it wasn't just the 52 to 48%. It was the fact that it was over the whole country. When you look at the map, the whole country looked Brexit. It's like when you look at a map, even after next week, when you look at a map of Britain, if the Conservatives don't do as badly as they're expected to do, just looking at a pure map of England, you would think that England is, really a conservative country. When most of the it's not. I mean, the votes are in the rural areas, aren't they? The thing is, with Maidstone now, our town is now divided into 3 constituencies. And so we have a situation, my constituency is Maidstone and Malling. We've got a situation now where we have a Liberal Democrat Green Council. Even Labour doubled their number of seats to 6 in this election, because not only were the national constituencies revalued, and there are new constituencies in this election, 3 in Kent, for example, with new boundaries. Because of that happening, losing my train of thought here. Because of that happening, really, you'd think that Maidstone should be a Liberal Democrat win, really, but it won't be, because what will happen is you will get Liberal Democrat voters who will vote Liberal Democrat. Labour voters vote Labour. I think Labour finished second, but way behind the Tories last time round in what was Maidstone and the Weald. And then you will get the Conservative voters. So what is going to happen in this constituency is that basically the Conservatives are going to rise up through the middle and win the seat. So this part of Kent, I don't think there's much chance of any real change. So then we had Jeremy Corbyn, didn't we? Became leader of the Labour Party. They allowed him to run because they didn't think he would have any chance. But I watched the Channel 4 debates in 2015, when there was, and it was this thing of passion. Jeremy showed passion. They put him in as they didn't think he'd get anywhere, but he did get somewhere, and he showed passion. And he showed passion on the 2017 trail. When Labour got this record number of votes, but still didn't stop Theresa May, who then went in power with the DUP. And let's face it, Theresa May never wanted Brexit, but she hadn't got the guts to say it. And then in 2019, you had that total clown Boris Johnson. Remember some of the things he did, hiding in fridges, having a smaller person sit behind him on a forklift truck and come for a polystyrene wall with "Get Brexit Done," and I don't know. So so there again, it was hard to know what the media were saying. So the media play us again. I think really the media are always playing us. In 2015, they made you think voting UKIP would get rid of the Tories. It didn't. And then in 2019, Labour had that rather stupid policy of saying they would try to negotiate, and then if they'd negotiated, there may have then been a second referendum on the table. I'm rambling a bit, and I'm losing my train of thought. When I watch this video back, I'll probably think, why don't you just shut up? So anyway, what do I think about this? What do I think is going to happen on Thursday? Well, personally, I am worried about a late surge to reform, which they've been predicted to get 18 seats. I don't see under the system how they can, but if they get a big enough surge and can replace the Tories in certain places that have got no sympathy for Labour, then it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Farage could be the leader of the opposition. I hope it doesn't happen. What happens if the pollsters are totally wrong and Farage is Prime Minister? Well, I've predicted the economy will collapse within 2 weeks, and there will be civil unrest, and they won't last. This Brexit thing, it's a cult. It's like the rock opera Tommy. Do you remember the rock opera Tommy? He was a deaf, dumb and blind kid. He played the mean pinball. He beat them all. And then they built a theme park round him. But the theme park didn't offer anything, and because the theme park didn't offer anything, it ends up with a mob, smashing the place up, and the song is "We're not going to take it, we're not going to take it," and I think that is what will happen if somehow Reform UK were suddenly to be the government. I'm not saying there's not issues that Reform UK perhaps might even be right in. I don't know. Widdicombe said something today, which although I think she's a bit delusional, was not a bad idea. That you don't you train people as nurses, and if they stay in the health service for so many years, then if they've been charged fees, you repay them the fees that they paid. Didn't sound totally stupid, but I can't vote for them. I know I've rambled on a bit, so my advice to you is, depending on who you want, if you really are of the opinion that Reform is the party for you, then you must vote for them. Otherwise, if you definitely want the Tories out, then it's a question of tactical voting, and I think there's an organisation which is supposed to be. I'm not going to give the name of it because, as far as my it's concerned, it gives no options really. Phil of a different bias said it'll be up and running fairly soon, but every time I've checked it, it doesn't tell you who to vote for. And Maidstone and Malling, really, I think the Conservatives are going to win it, because I think the vote will be split between the Liberal Democrats, the Greens, who I'm voting for, Labour, and of course the Tories will win. Anyway, I'm going to watch this back. I may not post this one. We'll just have to see. But if you're listening to it, I've gone through it and I've thought, well, it's as succinct as I'm going to be. I haven't had a drink. Hopefully, it doesn't sound like a load of incoherent rambling. I'm gonna listen to it now, see what I think of it. And if you're near hearing me saying these words, I've posted it. And that's all I've got to say on the general election this forthcoming week. And bye for now.